Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates morning show. You've bring us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. Thank you for coming back and joining with us this morning. Miss Nancis and I are going to continue the discussion with start the discussion rather with Miss Anthurium Lewis, Junior Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation in the Tobago House of Assembly. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here as well.
All right.
Good morning, Tobago. It's nice to be here.
All right.
Nice to have you.
Yeah. It's beautiful young lady, intelligent, but I don't want to tell the people who you are. Just tell Tobago, for those of them that do not know, who is Anthurium Lewis?
So, good morning, Tobago again. My name is Anthurium Lewis. I am the Junior Secretary of Tourism. Right. I also have many other titles to my name, as I'm a national athlete. Right. I'm a debater. I'm a Child Rights Ambassador and Air Scout as well. So I do so much. Today I'm here representing as the Junior Secretary of Tourism. Well, part of my role as the Junior Secretary of Tourism is to be that youth voice to represent the tourism aspects of decision-making and plans here in Tobago, as well as just to add that fresh perspective on how things can be done, especially when there are certain things that may be overlooked. It's really just to add that youth voice to it. So part of my role also was journeying to the Cayman Islands to participate and compete in the Regional Youth Congress, where I placed second. So thank you so much. So from that, I was awarded many opportunities. So part of that was a scholarship from Carnival Corporation to study at any institution or program of my choosing for tertiary level education, as well as a Breeze Travel Summer Internship. So I'm very excited for that, as well as the opportunity to attend another major CTO event in the 2025 year calendar. So these are I'm excited to have these things done.
So many. You have a whole rundown for yourself.
I'm saying Junior Secretary doesn't sound too bad, man. Dwayne, what are you thinking?
I've probably passed the age to be junior, but what inspired you to accept this role, and coming into this role of being Junior Secretary, what are some of the things that shocked you in accepting the role as Junior Tourism Secretary?
I would say accepting this role of Junior Secretary of Tourism, well, I would say competing for it, because we did a
competition,
a competition here in Tobago for it. Being in this role, it opened my eyes to so many opportunities in tourism and the tourism sector, right? Things that I did not even know before. I would consider myself a very educated person, not to toot my own horn, but there were so many things that I did not know about tourism.
Some of those things, if you don't mind sharing, at least one.
Well, I would say the many careers that there are in tourism, right? The average student may just be like, okay, well, tourism has this and that. But there are so many diverse things that persons don't know about, that coming into this role as Junior Secretary of Tourism, I learned about it. So it opened my horizons to a new galore of opportunities that I myself can also try to look into and consider. So I would say definitely that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been an amazing experience so far.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know we're here to speak about Fruits for Tomorrow, but I know that you would have worked on different projects, while being the Junior Secretary of Tourism. So could you highlight one of those projects that you are most proud of? And just tell us overall about the projects that you would have worked on.
Right, so the Fruits for Tomorrow initiative is actually going to be my major project. But throughout my tenure as the Junior Secretary of Tourism, as I said, I'm a debater. So I have been basically being an ambassador for human rights, right? So I've been doing the Tobago debates inside of the plenary, right? So the Women's Day debates that recently went by, I was representing as a chief secretary in that role.
So famous chief secretary, man.
So I have a passion for fighting for people's cause. So being able to speak about women's rights and closing the gaps in women's health care, as well as, speaking out about the housing crisis on the island. These things I'm very passionate about. So I'm glad I got the opportunity to actually speak to the masses and share my concerns, share my ideas in that aspect. So it was a great opportunity to be afforded.
I don't want to jump on her. When you said that you spoke on certain things, being the representative for that debate, what are some of the things that you would have mentioned? I'm very curious to know, because I mean, you are part of the future for tomorrow.
Right.
So she is. Don't you see her as being the first? As Dwayne said, you might be the first female chief secretary, So what are some of the things that you would have shared in that debate?
Right. So the main topic was really period poverty.
Okay.
Right. So I brought awareness to period poverty. I also brought awareness to the SDG goals that concern period poverty and the pillars that the THA has established to deal with issues like period poverty. So I resurfaced those pillars, right? I informed the public of it and show that this is the government's role to deal with issues like this, right? It is a social issue. Okay, so that is one part of it. I also brought up ideas like the menstrual cup, right? Because we know that period supplies and products are very expensive, and some persons may not be able to afford sanitary products like these. So if we get menstrual cups of different sizes and we distribute them to different persons, of course, through a robust education program, we can teach them how to use it. Because these menstrual cups can last very long, up to 10 years. I did research into it. So I brought that to the forefront as well, among many other things. I spoke about the economic impact of period poverty, how it reduces productivity in the workforce, and why we need to attack it.
Okay.
So that was
I see her getting a bit passionate about it,
She's definitely involved.
You're seeing the energy that she had when she was in that debate coming out again.
So the theme, Fruits of Tomorrow, just tell us about that and what is that about? I don't want to be preemptive, but you go ahead and tell us what Fruits of Tomorrow is all about.
All right, so the Fruits for Tomorrow initiative or project, it strives to achieve the SDG, so Sustainable Development Goal number 2, which is zero hunger, as well as to significantly enhance the tourism product in Tobago, right? So there are 2 parts to this project. The first part has us planting in secondary schools, primary schools, in communities, in faith-based institutions. So this is so that children and adults alike, they have full and complete access to a healthy source of nutrition, right? And we also have planting in strategic areas for beautification purposes. Right? This is a tourism project, right? We also have planting in areas susceptible to erosion and landslides. So, of course, with the proper approval and advice of the necessary authorities, that will be carried out. And the second part of this project is we are creating attractions called Tobago's 7 King Trees.
Okay.
Right? So
Tobago 7 what?
King Trees.
King trees.
Yes. So this is the name I decided on.
What trees are you guys intending to use if you guys have identified those already? What are some of those?
Right.
I
So
can guess too, but you go ahead.
we are aiming to involve native and local fruit trees. So ranging from things like soursop to sapodilla to breadfruit. These are the fruits we are trying to attract, because there is I would say the abundance of native and local fruit trees on the island is
kind of depleted.
Yes, it's declining. Right? So we need to regain that appreciation for local fruits. Nowadays, if you ask a child, tell me a local fruit, they'll say mango, because that's what they know. That's what they know, and they don't grow up seeing things like sapodilla anymore, sadly. So we want to resurface those native fruit trees and bring it so that persons could have easy access to it, right? So the Tobago 7 King Trees, right? We are allowing children of Tobago to not only choose but to name 6 of these king trees, whereas 1 will be planted. So through partnership with the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, right, what we are doing is we are hosting a creative writing competition. So it's open to children in primary school as well as lower school in secondary, so that's forms 1 to 3.
Right.
And they are given the task to convince whoever will be reading their submission as to why the tree that they select is suitable to be deemed a king tree. So we want this tree to be a tree that has some sort of cultural or historical significance, whether it has some eerie folklore tale behind it, or it has great ties to the village in which they were raised up in. Make it as personal as you like, right? So we want you to persuade the reader as to why that tree can be a king tree, right?
I'm not one of the children, but
You're excited.
I'm excited.
When last you plan something?
When last you eat a shaddock? I wasn't even gonna
Excuse me,
ask about. I
I
wasn't
eat a
even
shaddock
gonna ask
in February, yeah?
in February.
Yes.
Where's the shaddock from?
Well, we want to mind my business of her.
You see, we can't share.
Do you know what is a shaddock?
These trees are not available. Why
You know
is
the
Dwayne
shaddock?
alone eating shaddock? Do you know what a shaddock is?
Yes.
Okay, we're not that lost.
You know, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned so much about, you know, preserving our food heritage, our local food heritage. But in your stint of being junior tourism secretary, have you come across, you know, some of the issues that would have led to, you know, the delocalizing of our fruit trees? Things like globalization, you know, and how globalization, you know, dictates what we eat, when we eat, and how it mitigates food sovereignty. You know, have you come across some of those issues, and you know, what other issues have you come across that kind of cause some of these things to be an issue on our island? And well, I shouldn't ask because you already said it, but you know, do you see these things as, you know, major blocks in our way as small islands, you know, when it comes to preserving our heritage, especially when it comes to food?
I would say we as a people partially have a part to play in that.
Yes.
Right? Because it's demand and supply.
Correct.
Right? They supply what the people want. So if it's that we want oranges, we want apples, that's what they would supply.
That was the narrative.
Right?
Apples and grapes and these things. We never fell into the local. Let me not take away from you. Go ahead. I'm getting passionate about that part because we didn't grow up on
apples and grape and them things.
Yeah, we grew up on the local grapefruit. As I said, shaddock, popo, and these type of things. So you know, the narrative kind of changed when we started introducing books in education itself that would introduce the apple and the grape era, which is what the young people know now.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, you know, if for whatever reason or imports and stuff are hampered, what would they now grow up on? Somebody said this is now the what did they tell me? This is a Cricks generation growing up here. It's coming in. Yeah, because they have to learn. Nothing is wrong with Cricks, but the apples and the grapes won't be available to them. So what will we do?
Yeah. And you know, this discussion is quite important because you know, when I was in university, we did a course on geographical politics, geography politics, and you know, this is one of the issues that came up. Do you know that breadfruit is now widely studied as one of, you know, the superfoods in the world? 5 years ago, it wasn't. You know, we were forfeiting breadfruit for Irish potato. And you know, the name is in the pudding where it came from, Irish potato. You know, but now, you know, we have an opportunity to market our local fruits as an attraction towards tourism, towards a tourism product, you know, and you know, this is quite important, it's quite pertinent.
I honestly love this project, this initiative that you have. So I want us to get back into it because I'm excited.
Sorry, we don't want to take away from the interview. You go ahead.
So we have some very attractive prizes to be won for this creative writing competition. Some of which consists 3 days and 2 nights at the Manta Lodge for 3.
Fire.
Right? A phone.
I was just asking.
A tablet. units and book vouchers. Right, so this is history in the making. This is a
Right.
legacy being laid front. This is, you can say, a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not every day you get to say that you are choosing and naming the next Tobago tourist attraction.
Yes.
Right, and very soon in the future, what we hope is to implement technology into this. So we want to have a tree scan with a QR code. Right, so what this will do is when the person scans all 7 QR codes of each tree, right, they will automatically receive a certificate. So we are implementing the concept of geocaching into this, which is an international game that a lot of
Geocaching?
yes, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, about this.
Okay, so like it's you hide different things in certain areas and persons will actually go looking for it.
Right, so it's
this
like a
is
treasure
Something
hunt
like
kind of way.
Pokemon,
Yes, a
that
treasure hunt.
Pokemon game thing that I used to play. You have to actually go looking for the
Basically.
Pokemon. Okay, all
Right? So also on this tree scan, we'll have details about the tree, right? We'll have a snippet of the child's submission, so make it very enticing, right? We'll also have a tracker where you can see where the nearby trees are or give out a general location so that they know which area they want to go in next. So the purpose of these king trees is actually to bring global and domestic tourists to all the parts of the island. So we want them to go to the less traversed areas on the island, especially, in country, places like
Yeah.
Charlottesville,
The north
where they
side,
have, yeah.
Costa.
Yeah.
So we want trees to be vastly spread throughout the island to encourage persons to actually visit those areas, right? And I'm hoping that the people actually capitalize on this and arrange their small businesses in a way to actually cater to these tourists when they come. So we are doing this to keep income generation within the communities, right? This project, it impacts so many areas and it has so many benefits to it actually. So it's something that I prayed about and it came to my mind, and there are so many pros, and
Yes.
it's amazing, really.
I'm so proud of you.
I am happy
know?
that this was your initiative. And Dwayne,
very
well,
proud.
my next question to you is, because I know you're the outgoing Junior Tourism Secretary. I know that brings tears to your eyes a little bit. But how do you ensure that this project stays on stream? Because this is, of course, as we just said, a great initiative. How do you ensure, as outgoing secretary, that the incoming secretary can take this up and make this part of their own?
Right. So in order for that to happen, we need the buy-in of not just the Tobago House of Assembly, not just the Division of Tourism, but we need the buy-in of the people. Right? We can plant down so many trees, but at the end of the day, the people need to support this project. They need to support this initiative so that these trees can reach a stage where they can grow on their own. Right? We need the people to actually, feel as though this project is their own.
Yes.
Because it heavily impacts them in a net positive way.
Yeah.
And it's something that is for sustainability. It's for the future generation. That's why the name is Fruits for Tomorrow. Right? So we are doing this for our future generations. This is the seed we are planting, and we will see the fruits in the near future.
One of my last question to you, or my penultimate question to you, is you spoke about the fact that this is hinged on the SDG goals as it pertains to eradicating poverty, right?
Hunger.
Hunger and yes,
And
hunger.
both in a way, both.
Yeah.
How do you see the importance of publicizing or sensitizing the local public of Tobago and even the wider world about the nutritional benefits of some of our local fruits? Because you might be surprised that in comparison to a chenet, to an apple, which is has a lot more mass, right? That our chenet might be packing a lot more nutritional value.
I believe that it does. I mean,
It actually is,
Chenet actually You could taste that chestnut holds a bit more vitamin C than apple. But we wouldn't get into that part, you know? I don't want to get too excited about it.
You know,
Go on.
so how do you see that being a feature of this project? You know, as a pull factor, because you know people are pro health these days. Everybody want to be healthy.
Right.
Correct.
I wanna, especially them young men who now come in, you know, watching their muscles and thing.
Yeah.
How much protein this thing packing? You know, yeah.
Right, so that's actually going to be also implemented on the tree scan. All right, so we will have that page where the details, it breaks not just into the type of tree, but also the fruit that it carries and the nutritional benefits of that fruit.
Yeah.
So we are hoping to do that, and we're also hoping that the king fruit, the king trees, right, they have different fruits on each tree, so that when people scan it, they not only get that historical significance from the submission, but they learn something about our native and local fruits.
So what I'm hearing is that there would be some education on grafting and stuff like that as well, right? And in light of that, Dwayne saying that he ate a shaddock in February. I really hope that, you know, shaddock, one of the fruits that is one of the fruits that comes back on mainstream.
You starting to sound like you have never had shaddock in it.
No, I've had shaddock, no. It's just that you telling me I had it in February. That tells me two things. Number one, you're greedy because they didn't give me a shaddock. And number two,
you greedy for coveting
rarity
my
of
Time
shaddock.
you're eating shaddock, share for me too.
Thank you. When last year I had a super sweet and these type of things.
When last you had one?
Ask me
And
this
that is why we're
question.
planting. That
You
is
know,
why we're planting.
this is what we need, as she said.
Yes.
The rarity of these fruits is too much.
Yeah.
Too
You know, they
scarce,
need to be brought back into mainstream. I really love this initiative.
You know,
especially that I love food. Yeah.
your closing comments.
So I'd like to say thank you to some people. I'd like to say thank you to the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, the Honorable Fali Chavez Augustin, for his support. I'd like to thank the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Councillor Tasha Grace Boris, for her funding of this project and her continuous support. I'd like to thank the Assistant Secretary of the Division of Tourism, the Assemblyman Niall George, Administrator Ms. Shelley Trim, and the wonderful team that's supporting and helping me with this project at the division. Thank you so much. Right, I'd like to thank the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Assemblyman Zerisha Hackett, for allowing us to do this planting at the schools and also for buying in on this project. Right, thank you to all other stakeholders who are assisting with this project. And yes, thank you. And I want to thank my family, most importantly. So they are the driving force behind this. They give me encouragement, they give me support, and they keep me going, right? And last but not least, I'd like to thank God. Without him, I would not be given this opportunity to even use my ideas and execute them. It's only him, because I could have these ideas all I want, but only him has given me this chance to actually take the ideas and have a channel through which I can implement it for the benefit of the Tobago people. So I
She
thank
said
you
that
so
this
much.
idea was prayer given, so it was really,
It was prayer given.
really God-driven.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Continue. Don't stop being the junior secretary. Right? Wherever you go, wherever, because I do anticipate that God will take you to greater heights and
I
greater
believe so too.
places. Wherever you go, you represent Tobago. Represent yourself very well, and all the best.
And please ensure, even if you had to check in, I'm not saying, some people like to say bother, don't bother them, but just check in, just make sure that this idea comes on, you know, because we want to see it, we really want to see it implemented. The ideas that you have thrown into the actual idea would really give Tobago a voice out there in the global market, especially for our local produce. This will be a good thing, especially for our local farmers here as well. Yeah, so good luck. And to Dwayne, you owe me a shout out and a super sweet. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us here for this interview. Up next, who do we have? We have Miss Monique Joseph, model. She'll be the representative for Spearside. The interview that I told you about that Dwayne is very excited to speak to you on. So we ask you to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.